My spending theme of 2025 is to buy less and buy better. So today I'm going to share how I evaluate a purchase and determine if it's worth buying. There's a lot of personal finance jargon on the internet, but here at Break Your Budget, we cut through the crap and focus on getting the basics right. The biggest driver for my spending decisions as of late has been cost per use. The cost per use spending philosophy is a more practical approach to evaluating a purchase and really focusing on value relative to the price of the item. This thought process has had me thinking about my spending decisions a lot differently. Rather than focusing on the least expensive item, I'm much more focused on both quality and how frequently I'll use it. And as a result, I'm much more likely to invest or spend a little bit of money on something if I know it's going to be an item that I use all the time. The basic cost per use formula is that cost per use equals the price of the item divided by the number of times that you use it. What this does is it really forces you to think about the longevity of an item rather than just simply the cost. So what I'm going to do today is explain some of the key principles of cost per use, and then I'll get into a few of my lowest cost per use items, or what I like to call them, intentional splurges. There are three key principles of this cost per use philosophy. First being the value of an item over time. An expensive item that you use frequently may actually have a lower cost per use than a less expensive item that you don't use very often. The goal is for the cost per use of each item you have to get lower and lower, so the more times you use it, the lower the cost per use becomes. The next principle of cost per use is consideration of quality. Higher quality items generally last longer and ultimately have a lower cost per use. And this applies even if the initial investment or initial price of the item is higher. Generally, this is because higher quality items are made better and they don't fall apart as easily, so they last a longer period of time. So if you have an item for say 10 years and you wear it a couple times a year, that cost per use will likely be lower than a lower quality item that you wear one or two times that falls apart after a year of having it. Ultimately, the goal here is to just maximize the shelf life of the things that you're buying. And the third key principle of cost per use is intentional purchasing, or again, in Break Your Budget lingo, intentional splurging. Following the cost per use approach can help you avoid impulse purchases because you really have to estimate the usability of every item that you're going to buy. This is so important when you're trying to rewire your approach to shopping and spending, and is basically the entire thesis statement behind buying less and buying better. Now let's pivot into some really basic examples that highlight the value of approaching your purchase decisions through the lens of cost per use. Let's imagine you buy a pair of jeans that are $100 and you have them for 5 years, and over the course of those 5 years, you wear those jeans 200 times. They're your favorite jeans. For me, these are like my Abercrombie jeans that I bought years ago, and I wear them literally all the time, at least once a week. The cost per wear on those jeans would be 50 cents. So in my mind, they're basically free. However, on the flip side, let's say you spend $30 on like a trendy shirt from Zara and you only wear that shirt 2 times. The cost per wear on that shirt would be $15. So the value isn't the same because you're spending $30 to wear something twice versus $100 to wear something 200 times. There are a couple of different really important benefits as well to cost per use in approaching your spending decisions with this perspective. First being, and I think this is the most important and valuable benefit, is it really helps you prioritize the money that you are going to spend on things that will actually add value to your life. Social media has trained us to just want and want and want, and we see the next best thing and we want to buy the next best thing. But when you're thinking about your purchase decisions through, is this providing value? Am I going to be able to reduce my cost per use? It helps you better align the purchases that you're making. Because at the end of the day, like, there's nothing wrong with buying things, but you just need to be intentional that the things you're buying are things that you're actually using. The second benefit is that it really does help reduce clutter from like barely used purchases. So when I think about cost per use, immediately my thought goes towards things in my wardrobe. But cost per use really does apply to kind of every area of your life. When I think about home decor specifically, like, I am not buying any home decor because I know that it's essentially just going to clutter my apartment and I'm not really getting any value from it. And the last benefit of cost per use is it really has a focus on sustainable consumption, which I think is something that's really valuable and important for a lot of us as consumers in 2025 and definitely going forward. At the end of the day, I don't mind spending a little bit more money on a quality piece of clothing or a quality item that was crafted ethically, where the people who are making those items are paid fairly. It's made out of natural materials and it's going to last me a long time. To me, that's a much better use of my money compared to buying a comparable product that's from a fast fashion company or, cheaping out on something that ideally I would be using for a long period of time. So moving on to some of my items that I've purchased over the last 4 years that have the lowest cost per use. I actually only have one clothing item that has the lowest cost per use because that's not really something that I track. And the rest of them are just like items around my apartment. So first, and if you know me, you are probably not going to be surprised by this, but my Breville Barista Express, this is definitely my lowest cost per use item because I bought this almost 2 years ago. We'll say 18 months ago, September of 2023. And I use this machine twice a day, every day. So I'm actually going to run some really quick math. I spent $600 on the machine and there are 540 days since I bought it. And I use it twice a day, so I'm going to times that by 2. So I'm going to do 600 divided by 1080, and that brings my cost per use on that machine to 55 cents, and it's only going to be getting lower and lower and lower because I'm planning to use that machine for a very long period of time, and I'm going to continue to use it 1 to 2 times a day. My second low cost per use item is my Omnilux red light face mask. I'm obsessed with this red light face mask. I actually purchased it. I purchased it myself about a year and a half ago as well. And the reason why I bought it was because I listened to a podcast where there was a dermatologist on there. She recommended to get a red light face mask and explained all of the benefits. And she specifically recommended the Omnilux one. And so I used this every single day. It was $400. We'll say I bought it 400 days ago because I bought it in January of 2024. And it's now, end of March 2025. And ultimately, that would bring that cost per use down to $1 a day, which in my mind is pretty good. Because again, that cost per use is just going to be getting lower and lower and lower. And if you were to compare that to, an in-house laser treatment or something, it would be a totally different ballgame. Moving on to my third lowest cost per use. These are my Aritzia sweatsuits. So I bought sets of Aritzia sweatsuits in 2023. I bought pants, sweatshirts, and shorts in white, gray, and black. And when I tell you these are the most worn items in my closet, I wear one of these or one piece of these literally every single day. They're my favorite sweats. Everything matches. I can mix and match them. And in my mind, even though they were expensive for sweatpants, they have so been some of the most valuable things that I've bought because, like I said, I wear them every single day. And I think that's a really important lesson when it comes to making wardrobe decisions. When you try something on or when you wear something, if you're deciding if you're going to make a purchase, you want to make sure that when you put it on your body, you absolutely love it. Because if it's something that you have to adjust or style or fix in a specific way, the likelihood that you reach for it and grab it frequently is going to be much lower as opposed to if it's a piece of clothing that you put on your body and you just love the way you look and love the way you feel when you have it on. That's one of my biggest thresholds for making a clothing purchase. The big catalyst for me is material composition, but the other big catalyst for me is when I put it on, do I love the way I look and feel in this? Or do I have to make adjustments to it? Do I have to stand a certain way? Do I have to tuck my shirt a certain way? Because I have found in the past that if there are clothing items in my closet where I have to do those things, I'm just not wearing them. I'm always constantly pulling the clothes that I feel the most comfortable in. So that should really be a catalyst when you are making any sort of clothing decision. And number 4, this is actually related to my bed, are my Brooklinen sheets. About 4 years ago, when I moved into my first apartment in LA, I bought a set of Brooklinen sheets. And Brooklinen sheets are kind of expensive. The ones I bought were 100% cotton, and I was absolutely blown away at how comfortable and soft they were. I feel like good sheets, especially on your bed, you spend so much time sleeping, are such a high value purchase because I never believed that it made a difference, but I don't have the same sheets on my bed in my parents' house. And like, I do notice a difference in how comfortable it is. And so when I moved into my current apartment here in Chicago, I got a new bed. So I had to purchase new sheets and like a new comforter and everything. I bought everything from Brooklinen. It was about $600. So it was very, very expensive, but I know that that's a high value purchase, A, because I'm in my bed every single day and those sheets will last me for years. Like my sheets that I had in LA were also Brooklinen and they lasted me for 3 years and they would have lasted me for however much longer I kept that size bed. The only reason I got new ones is because I went from a full bed to a king bed. And so in my mind, investing in like really nice, high quality, 100% cotton sheets, it up levels my sleep situation. It makes me feel good and I know they'll last a long time. And again, every time I go to bed, the cost per use gets lower and lower and lower. So overall, when you're thinking about investing in certain purchases, I really recommend that you focus on the everyday things. I have a couple of videos on my Instagram page where I talk about everyday luxuries and the things that actually truly add value to my day-to-day life. Those are the things that I focus my money on. I'm not focused on, the occasional going out top or the occasional kind of splurge or item. I am focused on really, really up-leveling and choosing the more luxurious item on the day-to-day things that I use. Another example, just as I'm talking now, would be a really nice hairbrush. This is a newer one for me, so I didn't include it in this list originally, but I got a Crown Affair hairbrush. It was about $100. This was a Christmas gift, but it's something I would have bought on my own. I use this hairbrush every single day. It really feels good on my head. I feel like it smooths out my hair really nicely. It's great for slicking back my hair. It's just an everyday item that makes my day-to-day experience a little bit more luxe. And again, when you use it every single day, the cost per use gets lower and lower and lower the longer that you have it. So hopefully this video was helpful in thinking about purchase decisions and spending decisions. Spending is a big theme of my page going forward. So if you have any questions or you want me to talk about this from a different angle, let me know in the comments. I also want to know in the comments, what is one of your lowest cost per use items? With that, I'm going to wrap this up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you next week.